It's great to have you here. Telephone number 800-282-2882. Here is the second analysis piece of the Iowa poll, which was published a couple of days ago. And I may be honest, I had forgotten how big a deal this is. When I saw these two pieces analyzing it, I had to dig deep into the memory synapses, little gray cells here. Go back to 2016 and say, okay, what did this poll say in 2016? I had to reconstruct that. I had to go look it up. And it's a big deal to the left because the poll has apparently unassailable integrity. So I shared with you the first analysis from John Ellis that was published at Medium. This is published at PJ Media. It's Matt Margolis. Yeah. Polls shouldn't be trusted, but hear me out, he begins. Oh, by the way, the headline, the latest poll out of Iowa foreshadows disaster for Biden. So that's two different analyses here that have the same conclusion. Now, this guy, Matt Margolis, is focused on Bill Kristol because Bill Kristol is one of the leaders of the Never-Trumpers. Bill Kristol is one of these phony faux conservatives who's been trying to get you to part with your money to send to him to prop up his so-called conservative efforts like his magazines and cruises, while telling you that he is the intellectual brain power behind conservatism being dominant in America. And then Donald Trump comes along and renders all these Never-Trumpers irrelevant, and they still haven't come to grips with it. And so there are a lot of people that want to focus on Kristol and David Brooks and all these other Never-Trumpers and really take it to them. And I gather Matt Margolis is one of these guys. So he opens. Yeah. Polls shouldn't be trusted. But hear me out. Never-Trumper Bill Kristol recalled the significance of the last Des Moines Register poll in a Friday, October 31st, 2020 tweet prior to the release. And this is Kristol's tweet on Halloween prior to the release of the poll. Quote, I remember well my phone conversation with a smart Republican friend who was sadly pro-Trump Saturday evening, November 5th, 2016, after the final Des Moines Register poll of Iowa had Trump +7. He said, if Iowa is +7, then Trump has a good shot at Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. He could win the whole thing. I was worried because he was right. Trump ultimately won Iowa by 9.4 points. Now, not long after that tweet from Bill Kristol, the final Des Moines Register poll was released, and it showed a massive shift to Trump in Iowa, putting him again at +7 over Biden. From the poll, from the story, Republican President Donald Trump has taken over the lead in Iowa as Democrat former Vice President Joe Biden has faded. There's the word. According to a new Des Moines Register Mediacom Iowa poll shows just days before Election Day. The president now leads by 7 percentage points over Biden, 48-41. 3% say they're going to vote for somebody else. 2% aren't sure, and 5% don't want to say. In September's Iowa poll, the candidates were tied at 47-47. Oh, so a month ago September rather. 2 months ago they were tied, and since then Trump 48, Biden 41. No, 49-41. Yep. No, 48-41. Ann Selzer, the president of Selzer and Company, which conducted the poll. And by the way, her reputation, Ann Selzer's reputation for polling in Iowa is solid. Bill Kristol seems unwilling to acknowledge that. Perhaps there's been a late-breaking shift in Trump's favor. He is resisting, if you will. In addition to fading with independents, Biden has lost ground with women. By the way, I don't know how many of you are watching Trump rallies. Catherine and I do not miss a moment of any of them. I mean, we saw Trump dancing at Opelika at 1 a.m. today. We watch, they're the best television going. Trump rallies are the best TV going. And Trump has been focusing on this news, supposedly, that suburban women don't like him. He's been directly reaching out to them in these rallies. He goes on a riff about how he loves women. He loves suburban women. He wants the best for suburban women. And then he tells the story about how the drive-by media now making fun of Trump because he's begging the women. He's begging and reaching out and pleading with them. And he laughs about it. And he says, no, you suburban women, you're not going to have it better with anybody but me. I love this. I love it. You know, you're not supposed to tackle this stuff head on. You're supposed to be subtle. But Trump is letting it all out, folks. He's all in, like we all need to be all in for him. And how do we do that? We vote. That's what all in on our side means. But, I mean, he's just taking it right to them. And he's telling them that whatever they've heard about him is wrong, that he loves them, that he loves everybody, that he wants the best for everybody and for everything and for every aspect of this country. And he doesn't need any of this. He doesn't need to put up with the abuse. He doesn't need this. And he doesn't, by the way, he makes mention of the fact that he's doing 5 rallies a day, but he doesn't complain. He loves it. He absolutely loves these things. You can see it. He literally loves it. He loves being with the people who show up, and he lets them know how much he appreciates they're there. He's got the empathy, he's got the affection, and he has the humility. And it's all on display at every one of these rallies. So, returning here to this analysis of the Iowa poll, J.N. Seltzer. In addition to fading with independents, Biden has lost ground with women. In September, he held a 20-point lead among the babes, which balanced out Trump's 21-point lead among men. But today, the day the poll was released 2 days ago, Biden's lead with women has shrunk to 9 percentage points. It's 50 to 41%. We saw a huge gender gap that benefited Biden in September, J.N. Seltzer said. And while there's still a big gap among men, they're going for Trump by a 24-point margin. It's just a 9-point margin for Biden with women. And so there's just an imbalance there. Before we saw mirror images of each other. Her point is that Trump's margin with men has increased, while Biden's margin with women has decreased by a significant amount, so that there is no way that Biden is keeping up. Now, back to Matt Margolis. If this shift has happened in Iowa, does Bill Kristol really believe it hasn't also happened in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, and Wisconsin as well? He certainly would have argued that the DMR, Des Moines Register poll, spelled doom for Trump in those states if it showed him behind. Kristol seems to be in denial that recent battleground state polls have been showing momentum for Trump. Republican Senator Joni Ernst also saw a boost in the Des Moines Register poll. She's now ahead of her challenger 46 to 42, which we also reported mere moments ago. So Margolis is focused on Kristol, which is fine. You know, there's a lot of pent-up anger and frustration at the Never-Trumpers, and it's justified. The so-called Republicans out there now advocating for Biden, they ought to be, at the very least, ashamed of themselves.